Happy Halloween, everybody. We made it. 31 days, 31 movies. For those of you that watched, read, and commented on my reviews, I can't thank you enough. You have a very special place in my heart. This October, I had some pretty high highs and a very low low. For the past few years, I've liked to save the scariest movie for Halloween, and if you'd follow the Facebook page, you'd know I've been teasing this for a few days. So now that it's here, let's talk about The Dark and the Wicked. This movie is scary. It's probably the scariest one I've watched since Host a few years back. So here's the story. A brother and sister return to their family home in Thurber, Texas to help out their mother. Their dad is in the final stages of a chronic illness and doesn't have long to live. When they got there, their mom seems unhappy that they showed up, telling that they shouldn't have come and that they should leave. The pair think it's just a matter of the stress getting to their mother and they're determined to stay. But one night she ends up slicing off her fingers and they find her the next morning hanged in the barn. After taking their situation and seeing no stool or step around, they realize there's no way she could have done it herself. Over the next few days, they start to realize something's off. Through conversation with their father's nurse, reading their mom's diary, and other spooky goings-on, they begin to understand what they're dealing with, and it's way beyond them. The two wrestle with staying to help their father in his dying days or abandoning him to try and save themselves. The plot doesn't sound like much, but it does a lot with the premise. The demon hovering over everything has a lot of power and gets stronger as the movie goes on. I've complained in the past about the antagonist being too OP, but I didn't mind it in this movie because the way it uses its powers. You don't realize exactly how screwed these people were the entire time until the credits roll. Not only that, it uses the power in varied ways and uses them for maximum spookiness. For instance, the scariest thing in the movie is a scene involving a priest played by the always welcome Xander Berkeley, George Mason from 24. He shows up to talk to the brother and sister, and one of them says they don't even believe in God. The priest kind of shrugs it off, saying, "You think a wolf cares if you believe he's a wolf?" Before they kick him out, the brother asks him,
"You really think the devil's out there? That's your truth?"
You think she's crazy because she saw a wolf? Saw him coming? He's not out there. He's already here.
It's a pretty chilling conversation, but it's played straight. It's just a conversation. But it gets even better later in the movie. He shows up again at 3 a.m. He doesn't say much, he just stands there shrouded in shadow, telling them to come outside. He then asks them if they want some rope, referencing how their mother died. The sister shines the flashlight on his face, revealing all white eyes. It's so unnerving and genuinely scary. That's not all. The next day, she calls the priest using the number he gave her. The priest is confused on the other end, saying that he's in Virginia. He goes on to say that he's never even been to Texas in his life. You realize every time they saw that priest, it was the demon in disguise. The thing showed up, came into their home, and warned them how screwed they were just because it could. It's so good. There are jump scares, but they're all earned. I've never seen a movie that works towards every scare. They aren't just there for fun. Each one is built up to. Not only that, each one is better than the last. One of the reasons I started doing my reviews all those years ago was that I miss being scared by movies. It happens so seldom that when a movie genuinely does scare me, it makes me so happy. Everything in this movie just ratchets up the tension until it reaches the boiling point. There are so many good moments that it doesn't need to rely on jump scares. And even when you think something may be going their way or there's a person who may be able to help, the movie says, nope, and you get a good glimpse of how powerful the thing is. It doesn't tread new ground. A lot of the scares are similar to things you've seen in other movies, but they're all used at exactly the right time. It's kind of like watching Greg Maddux pitch. He's not going to blow you away with his fastball, but it's his ability to change speed and perfectly locate his pitches that keeps hitters off balance. That's what this movie does. It's not just throwing gas. It keeps you off balance and guessing, so when the payoff comes, it lands beautifully. If I had one complaint, and it's a small one, I don't quite understand this thing's power limit. It has shown the ability to kill people pretty easily, but for some reason can't get to the comatose father until after he's dead. It didn't quite explain very well why it could flex on other people, but had to play the waiting game with the dying father. Still, I thought this was fantastic. 9.5, Dr. Chainsaws.